In this video, I'm going to give you my favorite indicator for trading altcoins. And yeah, let's get into it. You can use this on crypto, Bitcoin, ETH, but especially for altcoins, I really like this. I'm going to explain it to you in a fundamental way. We don't need the chart in front of us to do this. I find you guys prefer the video where I'm cruising and driving and talking to the chart videos. These get more views, so we're gonna do it this way. Where are we going? I'm on Oahu. I'm driving from my place in West Oahu, and we're driving to East Oahu, east side, where I'm going to Kailua Farmers Market, getting some meat for this week, going to Whole Foods, getting lunch, and then swinging by the breeders, getting some anti-inflammatory meds for Nolani, who injured her ankle. Won't necessarily give her the meds. I'm doing it to appease the breeder, though, who I respect and want to maintain a relationship with. But on the way, me and you, we're gonna sup traders, y'all. And by the way, if you don't know me, I'm a professional adventurer and entrepreneur, and trading is one of the things I like to do. Yeah, look out here. Cannot really see that well on the right, but this is tracks. It's a surf spot. Looks pretty flat today, though. On the left, you see the power plant, and across from that is Electric Beach, which is great for snorkeling because there's a thermal vent, and it attracts a lot of sea life because it's warm. Okay, let's get into the funding rate. So this is for all of crypto, and it's really the only thing that I look at outside of the chart. You guys probably know the main thing that I look at on the chart is the old monthly highs and lows. That's the main thing that I look at on the chart. What happens when price interacts with old monthly highs and lows. But off the chart, a really powerful, useful indicator is the funding rate. And this is something that gives a huge edge when trading crypto that does not exist in any other asset. And if I had it in any other asset, I would trade that. Like, this is a huge edge. So the way perpetual futures work, this is if you're trading crypto with leverage, is in order to keep the perpetual futures price relatively close to the actual price of the underlying asset, they have a mechanism where if too many people are long, they pay a funding fee every 8 hours to shorts, which incentivizes longs to close their position or shorts to open them, which helps balance it against the actual price. If everybody is short and nobody is long, every 8 hours, the shorts pay the longs a funding fee. And this helps prevent the perpetual futures price from being way under the actual price. So it's essentially a mechanism that's trying to peg the price of the leverage contract to the actual contract. Does that make sense? It helps to understand, but you don't really need to understand. But what you do know is if funding is negative, it means there's more short demand than long demand. If funding is positive, it means there's more long demand than short demand. And it's not binary, it's in extremes. So it's not just positive or negative, it can be very positive or very negative. I've seen just last week there was shorts that the funding rate annualized per year was 2,000% was the fee. The 30-day fee was like 200% or something like that. So there can be situations where everybody's short, and also for longs. Around the top of Bitcoin, the annualized fee was, I think, like 60% a year in fees. If you have 100,000, if you have one Bitcoin long over a year with the fees, you pay 60% of that Bitcoin. Insane fees, right? So essentially what it does is it tells you trader positioning. So what you can do, you just Google Bitcoin funding rate. I use CoinGlass, and it has a list of all the altcoins, and you can see what the funding rate is. In other words, what the trader positioning is for leverage. And leverage is important because leverage traders are much more sensitive to quick price moves because they can get liquidated, whereas spot holders might dump their bag, but they don't have to. So it's like a cheat code, and it doesn't exist for other assets. Well, it's sort of. I guess for stocks you can see the short float, but if I want to trade a Forex pair, yeah, actually it sort of does exist for other assets too. It just doesn't play out as well. For Forex, there's a swap fee, and sometimes the swap's negative, sometimes it's positive. So I have to actually take back that it doesn't exist in other asset classes. It does, actually. But I think it's more pronounced and powerful and useful in the altcoin market. So there's a couple things to do with this. One is major market bottoms. Usually funding goes and stays negative across the board. There's massive short demand, and it's partially because all the longs get liquidated. It's also because when price is really low and everybody thinks it's safe to short, people pile in. So if you look at historical market bottoms for Bitcoin, ETH, and the crypto markets, usually there's market points of negative funding for a long period of time. The opposite is also true of tops. Major tops, the funding rate gets out of control because everybody wants to be long, everybody's too scared to be short, and when it swings back, it goes the other way. So that's one way you can use it, is in spotting major turning points in the market. We're talking like macro tops and bottoms, cycle tops and bottoms. The high time frame funding rate is super useful for that. Another thing is just for day trading, and also even if you're swing trading, you want a day trade entry. So I have a rule. It doesn't matter as much for Bitcoin or ETH, but I don't short Bitcoin ETH anyways. I will never short an altcoin if the funding is negative. So if I want to short an altcoin, I have to go check the funding first and make sure it's positive. You can also do this through your crypto app. So in KuCoin or MEXC, where I trade, I'm not an affiliate, I can go look and see if I want to trade something, I can put it on and then see if the funding's negative, I'm not going to short it because the crowd of traders are already short and it's at risk of a squeeze. So that's one way. Another way, and I'll do this occasionally, I had a really nice trade, which is in my live trades playlist, where I did this. You could go to CoinGlass and turn on all the altcoins, or all the coins, and you can sort from highest to lowest. And if funding is incredibly out of control in one direction, like so imbalanced, it will tell you, it will just give you a trade where you don't even necessarily need to look at the chart, you go the other direction. So for instance, that altcoin that was negative 2,000% in fees a year, can you imagine? You needed 2,000%. You need to pay 20 times your position in fees to keep it open. It's insane, right? So I blind longed it, and I closed at an area on the chart, and also funding had cut in half by that point. But if funding is like so out of control, you can almost blind trade it and just wait for funding to normalize a little bit. Same on the for the short side. If you go there, I just haven't had this recently, and the funding rate on something is out of control, like thousands% a year in fees to be long. You can almost just blind short that. So that's something I like to do. If I have time to day trade, I have no tours, I have no plans, and I'm like, I want to make money today, I might go look at that's a way I feel like there's not an opportunity like that every day, but you go check, and that's not a swing trade, it's a day trade. So that's another way that you can make money. But again, even if I'm swing trading, I want to make sure that the funding is in my favor. And if I'm looking for a market top or bottom, I'm looking for the extreme funding rate. So yeah, a lot to take in. Try to explain it from a fundamental and then a couple of different ways to trade it, but yeah, that's the one indicator that I like. I like Twitter sentiment. We can talk about that too. I'm going to come back and talk about that in the next video. Okay, appreciate y'all. Much love. Talk soon. Peace.